You were gone to Minneapolis.
I went to Minneapolis, did some shows, the Comedy Corner Underground.
Yeah.
My flight to and from were completely fucked. American Airlines, worst airline. And maybe after Southwest, I don't know. They didn't just close down. But they kept us on the tarmac at LaGuardia for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm flying Friday afternoon. My show's at 8.
Sure.
And I land at like 6:40.
Ugh.
And
I hardly have time to get to the club.
Race to the club.
Yeah. You
Race-
take your luggage to the club?
I leave it in the car. My buddy picked me up because he drove up from Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
He opened for me.
That's good.
And we go into above the club is a sports bar. It was 8 p.m. the time of the show. Also the time of Game 2 of the Western Conference Final, which Minneapolis is in.
Yes,
And
the Minnesota Timberwolves versus
Minnesota-
the Dallas Mavericks.
The Dallas Mavericks. That'll be very over before this comes out.
Yeah, it will be.
And so the whole bar is exploding. People, right? We walk in, everyone's they scored a 3-pointer or something. We push past people, walk down the stairs.
It's because of the game, not because Nunnick's in town.
No, not because Nunnick's in town. Yeah. I elbow people out of the way. I walk down the sad staircase from the loud bar to the room where there's like 5 people sitting in the audience, just like,
Yeah.
And we could hear the yells from the game during the show.
Fun. That's always fun.
And so multiple times in my set, I have this bit about like debating if I'm going to go to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
And I was like, I say I'm on stage. I'm like, yeah, we're in the town right outside of Auschwitz. And above, I hear everybody go, yeah. I was like, oh, all right.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. It's always good when you hear other people having more fun.
Yeah.
At a different location.
Yeah. Like, have you ever done a show and you hear like a band on the other room?
Yeah.
And it just sounds more fun.
Oh, it sounds more fun.
And the audience kind of looks like they wish they had gone next door. Maybe
I wish that I was dancing instead of
dancing.
Some guy talk about his fucking problems.
Guy talking about his premature ejaculation. I could be dancing with my wife.
Yeah, I'd rather be listening to "Take Me Home Tonight." But you had problems on the plane back too.
The plane back, so I'm flying back from Minneapolis. I've got a layover in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And it's a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a 45-minute, like
It's
the
a
plane
nail biter.
lands, I'm supposed to have 45 minutes till the next one. Well, the plane doesn't land for 25 minutes late.
Yeah.
So now my window is like under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I have like a 28-minute window.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, it's a 10-minute run to I think I can make it.
Yeah, to the gate.
To the gate. The guy comes on the intercom. The plane goes, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of planes on the tarmac. So, it's going to take us about 5 to 7 minutes to get to a jet bridge.
So now I can't do the math, but you've lost.
Now I'm
you're
looking
down
at
to like
20.
20
I'm looking
minutes,
at 20.
yeah. And it's a 10-minute walk, so you really got
walk.
10.
I got 10, and that's until it takes off.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have like a 10-minute policy before takeoff. Like, that's all she wrote.
Right.
And it really takes us more about like 10 minutes to get... And then, of course, it takes like 10 minutes to get off the plane.
Sure.
So, but they, like, everybody had layovers. So they were like, if you don't have a layover, stay seated and let the people who have a layover go out first. Of course, everyone said...
nobody listens.
Kiss my ass. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting off at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like elbowing people out of the way.
Yeah.
I sprint from the gate down to the next gate. Like, I run the whole way.
Wow.
And I get there.
Most running you've done in years.
Most running I've done in years.
Yeah.
And I'm like sprinting, and I get there, and the ladies, and I'm like, I gotta take it to LaGuardia.
Hold the plane.
It's like something from a movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold the plane. And then she goes,
papers and shit flying everywhere.
No, actually, my backpack became unzipped. And there was like shoes sticking out of my backpack. And I looked like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she goes, are you going to LaGuardia?
Yeah.
And I say, yeah. And she goes, she's closing the door right now. She goes, run down the jet bridge. Run right now. She's closing the door.
Run like a fucking maniac.
I run down the jet bridge and I fucking hit the wall and I run the other direction, like turns.
Yeah.
And the lady, I see her closing the door to the airplane and I go, wait. And then she like jumps and I'm like, on the plane. and she's like closed it to such a degree that it's like there's like a preliminary thing.
Yeah.
So she's got to fucking reach up and like jimmy something to even open it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
sure they didn't build it right anyway.
no, yeah, it's gonna blow off
It's gonna
mid-flight
fall,
anyway.
yeah,
It
yeah.
ended up blowing off mid-flight. and I get on the plane and I'm like heaving, and everyone's seated. I look down at a whole plane of seated people, and I'm like, my backpack's open. There's like a shoe almost coming out of it.
Yeah.
I'm probably have piss on my pants.
Right. The guy you sit next to, he thought he had an empty seat.
Yeah,
he fucking ruined his fucking
I'm a
night.
smelly, sweaty pig. Sits down next to him late. Yeah. The only thing the whole scene was missing was for me to like show up there in front of everyone and then to be like, Jessica, I love you, baby. Forget it. I'm not staying in Albuquerque. It was like all it was missing.
Right.
But so yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Right when I sat down, the plane started moving. It was crazy.
Whoa.
I mean, I sat down and it was moving.
Didn't even get to buckle your seatbelt. The most important thing to do when you sit down on the plane.
Increasingly, yeah. I've been trying
We
to
actually have a story about that.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. We'll introduce that in a second.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was riffing this on stage. I don't know if it's a bit or anything, but like, flying anywhere now is like taking a covered wagon across the country. Like 200 years ago, where like not everybody may make it. Like in your group,
right? Yeah,
might be like we lost Timmy over the Great Salt Lake.
That's not bad.
It's something. It's something.
It's something. You can work on it. I wouldn't work it on the podcast, but that's to each their own. But
fair enough. That's fair.
But
fair.
I think, and you said this. You texted me this. They should ban all flight for a year. Figure out what's going on.
They need to ground every flight in the world for 1 year and just say, hey, guys, we're going to do 1 year, no flights.
Yeah.
I know it sucks, but we'll figure it out next year.
It needs to be done.
It needs to be done. We just have to really take a step back.
We got to look in the mirror and figure out what the fuck's going on.
Everything. It's not just the planes falling apart. It's also the airlines are falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, none of it worked.
Yeah.
We're running out of pilots, and it's a mess.
It's a mess.
All we have is a surplus of gay flight attendants.
Yeah, we have plenty of gay flight attendants.
It's crazy. Yeah. So there's so many gay flight attendants, but everything else is a mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also told you this, which is the only thing I could think the whole time when all this was happening was, I'm never flying American again.
Yeah.
And those are the words of a powerless man.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most impotent thing you could say.
It's
if
meaningless.
you say that to your wife, she'll probably get the ick. She'll probably fucking dry up
You'll
right
never
there.
fly with her again.
I'm never flying American again.
You never fuck my pussy either.
I'm married to an impotent man.
Well, Joe, would you like to explain what this podcast is?
I will. This is the welcome back or welcome to the Echo Chamber podcast with Joe and Trent. I'm Joe. That's Trent. This is the only podcast where two comedians read the Wall Street Journal because one of us gets it for free from work. Trent, what are we going to be hearing about today?
Well, Joe, you and I, we love a good cup of Joe in the morning.
My name's not Joe.
But perhaps it's maybe coffee has fallen out of favor with the rich and powerful.
Well, you know what? I'm a man of the people because I am heavily addicted.
So we'll be talking about that.
We might be talking about drinking coffee. We're also going to be talking about beer, which has also fallen out of favor with the people running for president.
Oh, really?
When it comes to who would you rather have a beer with, forget it. I mean, both of these guys don't drink.
Well, I knew Donald J. Trump didn't drink, but I wasn't.
Biden's a teetotaler himself.
Wow.
He's more of an ice cream man. The candidates don't drink.
He loves ice cream.
Yeah, he's an ice cream man.
Guy loves ice cream. That's for damn
We're going to hear about that.
Well, we'll also be talking, speaking of planes and airline incidents, there's trouble on a Singapore airline.
It's always Singapore Airlines, really. Didn't one of those go missing forever?
Well, that was a Malaysian.
Oh, well, Singapore's
there's a
in
big difference.
Singapore's in Malaysia, right?
I don't know, they refer the Malaysian airline that was missing, and then this one.
I think the Singapore ones were maybe the ones that nosedived.
This one nosedived.
Oh, they had another nosedive.
Nosedive.
Duh, that can't stop. Well, we're also going to have an update from a previous story that we covered on the pod, I believe last week.
I love an update.
Menendez.
Yes. Senator Bob
Menendez, who, is in a lot of hot water over maybe extorting or being extorted by Egyptian people and storing gold in his closet and things like that.
Right.
Well, his lawyer offers an explanation for the gold bars.
Oh.
So we're going to find out the reason that he had so many gold bars in his closet.
Wow. I can't wait to hear that.
And we'll see if it held up in court.
Well, speaking of gold bars, Joe, friendship.
I love every time you get to your third story, it's always friendship. It takes a lot of work.
Listen, on the personal journal, it takes a lot of work, but it also takes a lot of money to get and maintain a friendship. It takes time and
when
money.
it comes to bachelor parties and weddings and all that stuff, I think you're certainly right. Well, in our final story today, we are going to hear another update, and it wouldn't be an episode of Echo Chamber if we didn't hear from our friend Elon Musk.
Oh, boy.
Well, we heard about the Neuralink patient whose Neuralink chip stopped working.
Yeah,
surprise.
Popped out of his head.
Well, the FDA said, who cares? They've approved it for a second patient.
Well, they nailed it the first time.
And we're also going to check into the first patient.
Did he beat Mario Kart?
We'll find out. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll start us off here. Joe, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Headline: Executive, sports stars, and celebrities skip coffee for good.
Wow. The influencers. The most powerful bunch there is.
Public figures brag about the benefits of getting through the day without caffeine.
Oh, shout up your ass.
Yeah, that's what I
It's because
say.
they've
Fuck
removed
off.
every other real world problem. The working man needs caffeine.
Yeah. Can't I just have one fucking thing without feeling bad about it? A person's cafe order can be a kind of personality cipher. Black coffee devotees are hardcore.
That's me.
And that's how I describe you.
They call me Striker.
Old hardcore Joe.
Yeah, black. Been a coffee shop at 2 p.m. My work from home job.
A single espresso evokes sophistication. Then there are those who don't drink coffee at all. Superhuman? Alien? Or maybe they just know something we don't. These days, more public figures are proudly proclaiming that they don't touch the stuff and say they're more productive as a result. Supermodel Giselle Bundchen. Look how that fucking worked out for her.
What?
She's got a divorce from Tom Brady.
That's
Giselle.
Giselle.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't recognize her without the Brady name.
Giselle Brady. I don't know if she ever...
She took Brady's name, right? Giselle Brady.
yeah, she's Giselle Brady. I know her as Giselle Brady.
I know it's Giselle Brady. I'm not really familiar with her supermodel work. I'm really more familiar with her work as a mother and a wife.
Well, she starts her mornings with room temperature water with a bit of lemon.
What do I give a fuck?
And Celtic star...
she also spends her morning counting half of Tom Brady's money. Actually, she's actually worth more than he is.
Yeah, that's what they say. Giannis Antetokounmpo opts for a smoothie.
Who's that?
He's a
NBA. Giannis, got it.
Giannis Brady.
Giannis Brady, yeah.
Actor Sydney Sweeney, you know her. She said she's never tried coffee.
Huh. There's a link to no coffee and having huge rockin' jugs. Well, but here's the thread between all of these people is that keeping their body is the most important thing in their life.
It's a machine. Their body's a machine.
It's a machine. Whether you're a supermodel and you have to stay perfect looking,
sure,
or you're an athlete and you can't really fuck with coffee because you need smoothies and amino acids.
Or if you have giant
milky sucking on breast.
Yeah, you're right. It is all.
So maybe I'm on something, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Quote, I think sleep is the new coffee, said Brian Johnson. By the way, the phrase blank is the new blank should be retired forever.
Yeah, I agree.
It's annoying. But he's Brian Johnson, founder of payment platform Braintree Venmo.
So is it Venmo?
I thought it was just Venmo, but apparently Braintree's
it's the shadow company.
Yeah, the shadow company. And nutrition program Blueprint, who's been working on ways to slow and reverse aging. Instead of turning to caffeine when dealing with jet lag recently, he did cryotherapy.
What is with all these rich guys trying to reverse aging?
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's always been the one inevitable in life. Well, I guess
also,
they beat the other inevitable, which is taxes. So maybe they're like, I guess we can beat death too.
Death and taxes.
Yeah.
That's their one thing
they got out of the first one.
Yeah, but I also I want to die.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I would like to see you. I don't understand the idea of living forever. It doesn't sound fun to me.
No,
sounds like a god awful nightmare.
Well, and they all want to look like 36 for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I find it so off-putting when a 60-year-old looks like they're like 35.
Yeah,
freaks me out.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's not
freaks
good.
me out.
Yeah. Quote, one of the most off-putting things about me is that I don't drink coffee. Actor and producer Mindy Kaling said. I think she might be selling herself short.
I don't say it's the most off-putting thing about you. Oh, that's
one
funny.
of the least self-aware sentences I've ever
This is the least self-aware thing you could ever say.
I love the ritual of it, and I love beautiful cappuccino art. So I really do feel excluded from a big part of culture.
I love cappuccino
I think people are
art.
suspicious of it, and I would be too. Yeah, that she loves cappuccino art.
I mean, what kind of mindless drag do you have to be to love cappuccino art?
Oh, look, you made a heart. I just love that.
I love you know what? I love the art of it.
Yeah. But she is right about one thing. There is a culture behind it that I don't understand. When I go into now I drink coffee, Joe. You know that about me.
I know that about you. I've always known that. I've known that to be true.
I always have. But when I go into a Starbucks and I look at the menu, I have a complete and total breakdown. I don't understand a single fucking thing.
I agree. And then even if you make a selection, I mean, I can't get the sizes right to save my fucking life.
Oh, no.
I say medium, they throw the coffee in my face. Try again, you fucking swine.
Pig. Last year, on his social media site Threads, Meta founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg shared that his daily caffeine intake is none. And that is
look how well adjusted he is.
It's working for him. Yeah.
What's his daily conversation intake?
Well, his morning routine consists of martial arts training, eating a ton of protein, and sleeping for 7 to 8 hours per night.
Loser. He's just such a dork.
Don't talk to me until I've had my martial arts training. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
Oh, God.
Quote, for a while, the flex was, how little did you sleep? How much did you do? Said this guy.
Grind culture. Yeah.
This guy, Shane Heath, who made a company. It's called Mud Water. They sell mushroom.
I've heard that advertised. They go, you need to stop drinking coffee. You got to drink mud water.
Yeah, well, how about you give it a better fucking name, you son of a bitch?
Yeah. Well, you made something that looks like shit and sounds like shit. Yeah, let me put that in my body so I can shit it out. I don't want fucking mud water, dude.
Yeah. Well, now the pendulum, he says, the Mudwater CEO says, now the pendulum is swinging the other way. How much are you taking care of yourself? Do you feel energized? Do you feel full of vitality?
Full of mud?
Drink some mud.
I feel full of
Slop
mud.
it up.
I'm ready for the day.
Oink, oink. Piggy.
Yeah. Well, I say to hell with all those people. I'm sticking with my black coffee, my occasional cappuccino. That's where I'm at. All those people can burn in hell for as far as I'm concerned. So they just listed some of the worst people I've ever heard of in my life.
They should be shot in the head.
As always, with our echo chamber disclaimer, we do not actually mean that. We say that in jest.
Yeah. It's a comedy podcast.
Comedy podcast. When we say people deserve to be shot in the head, that is not a call to action. It's not a call to action. And we refuse to be responsible for anybody who decides to take action based on when we say that, which we are going to continue to say. Now, this is Trent from the Wall Street Journal. Speaking of drinking, the candidates don't drink. I'm talking about alcohol now.
Talking about alcohol. Talking
I don't
about
think they
Trump
drink coffee either, to be honest.
Yeah, Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, maybe for both.
And a milkshake.
A fucking milkshake. Vanilla milkshake with sprinkles on it. Grab a fucking 18-year-old's ass. The candidates don't drink, but voters sure might need one. Quote, who would you rather have a beer with falls flat in this rerun presidential election. Dateline Milwaukee. If there was ever a presidential campaign where Americans might need a few drinks to brace themselves, this year's rerun between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is a strong contender. The two candidates won't, however, be imbibing themselves. Both men are teetotalers.
Wow.
And you're a teetotaler yourself.
Yeah.
Tom. Yeah. So, I mean, you must be a kind of a undecided
I'm
voter.
undecided. I can't decide who to vote for.
Yeah.
I just like them. I love them both.
Yeah.
They're teetotalers. My people, my brethren.
Yeah, they're both your favorite age.
Both my favorite age. They're both old white guys.
It's one of the few things they have in common, though, Trent, other than being elderly white men who play golf. Which candidate would you rather have a beer with has for years been a presidential polling barometer to test.
Stupid.
It is dumb. It is dumb. It's another thing. Blank is the new blank. I mean, forget the who would you rather have a beer with. But that question has gone dry this year as Democratic president and former Republican president face off in the race. In battleground Wisconsin, one of roughly half a dozen states expected to determine the presidential election's outcome, beer and alcohol are hardwired into the culture, along with cheese curds, bratwurst, and the Green Bay Packers.
Sure.
It's a state where a lot of good conversations are held over tipping a few beers or old-fashioned, said Scott Walker, a former Republican governor who briefly competed with Trump for the 2016 nomination.
How'd that work out?
I don't know how many great conversations are happening in Wisconsin. Over beers.
Yeah, they're not.
Most of the conversations are supposed to snow again. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold one.
Some of the best conversations.
Cold one. Talking about cold one over a cold one.
They're talking about a cold one over a cold one. I've been around this is so insane. I've been around the former president. This is Scott Walker talking.
Scott Walker.
Been around the former president many times when alcohol was served, and one of the funniest things he said, I've heard him say it repeatedly, is, I don't drink. Can you imagine what I'd be like if I drank? Walker said. Everybody just laughs.
Wow. That's insane.
I know.
Can you imagine? And then everybody fucking is doubled over.
Yeah. Because I'm so insane. What would I be like if I drank? Because I'm like the worst person to be in this office.
God,
yeah, we double over.
Jesus Christ!
Because you're such a loose cannon. You have a fucking screw loose. Biden, who prefers here's what he likes.
I didn't know he didn't drink. Now, was that always the case?
I think they say, but I don't think he's ever drank. Biden, who prefers orange Gatorade and Coke Zero. Coke Zero, Diet Coke for men. Was blunt in 2008 when asked why he doesn't drink. Quote, there are enough alcoholics in my family.
Yeah, he raised one.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Off-the-cuff drinking moments in presidential campaigns have resulted in bloopers that become political lore. As a running mate for Democrat George McGovern's 1972 presidential bid, Sergeant Shriver, founding director of the Peace Corps, made a gaffe when he called out, quote, make mine a Courvoisier, in a working-class bar. Huge fuck-up. Cost of the election. Yeah, you don't go to a dive bar and say, make it a Courvoisier, please. I don't think so, McGovern. Looks like Nixon again. And to think Nixon broke into Watergate he was running against that guy? I mean...
That's who he lost to?
Well, Nixon beat that guy, but he was paranoid about what the Democrats were planning, so he broke into Watergate. Sure. But he won like every state in the country. It wasn't even a close contest. He broke in for no reason.
Yeah. Well,
paranoid. Pasting. What are they planning? Break into the hotel. God, Nixon rules. He's so funny. Wisconsin beer is likely to be prominent when roughly 50,000 people, including delegates, media, law enforcement, temporary workers, and other visitors, descend on Milwaukee in July for the Republican National Convention. Back at the tavern.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too. Yeah, we're doing a live pod there. Back at the tavern, Joe Stillmank of suburban Milwaukee said he sees, quote, obvious pandering when politicians walk into a bar for a photo op and try to boost their common man standing.
Right.
As he sipped his second Guinness, as he sipped his 12th Guinness, really letting me know how he feels. The 58-year-old information technology worker also noted the weightiness of the presidency. Quote, they are in charge of nuclear codes, so I'm not sure you want them getting blasted, he said. Fair point.
Yeah. No, he's right. It is pandering. I never fell for it.
Yeah. You never fell for it once, and you never took a drop.
I never took a drop.
Never had a drop.
No. But yeah, I mean, what a brilliant observation. They're in charge of the nuclear codes as well. I never thought of that.
Yeah. An article almost about nothing, but they don't drink, so we'll see if that has any effect on the presidential election. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see.
I know that come election night, I'm going to be cracking a couple of cold ones.
Have you ever listened to any of the Nixon tapes?
No.
Where you just they just talk about everything. You know the show All in the Family?
Sure.
With Archie Bunker?
Yeah.
There's an episode because it just premiered, and
Right.
he's describing it. And he goes, "There's this new show out. A guy named Arch, and he sits in his chair there, and he's got a son-in-law, a liberal guy, meathead." That's the name of the character. That's what they call him. Yeah. But he's just describing.
He's describing Archie Bunker.
Yeah, but he keeps calling him Arch.
It's amazing. Oh,
well,
my God,
anyway.
Dude. Why did he decide to tape everything, or was it law that he had to tape everything? No, I think he just deliberately taped himself.
He taped everything.
Seems like a huge mistake for a guy who lies
especially
and
when you're just
schemes constantly.
Discussing illegal activities.
Yeah, on a daily basis.
Yeah, you turn it off. Hit stop on the recorder. Well, Joe, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Headline: Singapore Airlines incident puts focus on turbulence.
No,
we got
turbulence has been bad lately.
Yeah, well, we get into why it's been bad.
Because, good Lord, I flew to Palm Springs about 5 months ago.
Brag much?
The most scary turbulence I'd ever had in my life.
Really?
I mean, we were coming up over this mountain, and I mean, the plane dropped like 30 feet and went back up, and I thought we were going to run into the mountain. People were having a panic attack.
You spilled your old fashioned everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, let's hear about why.
I'm glad I haven't really experienced that.
Oh, jeez.
Well, but apparently it's going to be bad, very bad.
It's getting worse
from now on.
Good.
From now on until eternity. A Singapore Airlines flight that was jolted by air movement, leading to one death and more than 100 injuries.
Just because of the turbulence?
Yeah. Was one of the worst turbulence-related accidents in history, aviation experts said.
What the heck?
The frequency of such accidents is likely to increase as a result of climate change, said aviation experts and officials. On Wednesday, nearly 60 people from flight SQ321 remained in the hospital, with 20 in intensive care.
Wow.
Singapore Airlines hasn't disclosed the cause of the turbulence.
What do you mean? I mean, the cause of the turbulence?
I don't know.
It seems like it's not their information to disclose.
Right.
Can't you just be like, the atmosphere?
Yeah. I mean...
And faulty pilot.
What can they say? Yeah. Act of God.
It was the wind stream, Your Honor. The jet stream.
Well, the jet, a Boeing 777... hit severe turbulence on Tuesday, about 10 hours into a flight to Singapore from London.
They're not built for that.
They are not built for that.
Yeah.
They're not built for
Whoa,
bumping around.
We didn't know you were going to take them through crazy turbulence. You're going to fly these things?
We thought you were going to drive it. It was flying over the Irrawaddy Basin, a storm-heavy region of the Southeast Asia.
Yes, the Irrawaddy Basin.
The plane rose 400 feet and then fell the same distance within a minute.
Jeez.
According to data from Flight Radar 24, before beginning a descent into Bangkok.
Oh. And that killed the guy?
That to kill the guy. Passengers were flung from their seats. Oxygen mask dropped. A 73-year-old British national, Jeff Kitchen, died.
Did he have a heart attack or how did he die?
Kitchen had a history of heart problems and
Actually, you know what I read about? He choked on his Biscoff cookie. Lodged in his throat. It went, No. He had a heart attack.
Yeah, Kitchen had a history of heart problems and likely died of cardiac arrest, said the general manager of Bangkok's airport.
Why look into it?
But I like that the general manager of Bangkok's airport, he goes, no, it was a heart attack.
No, I'm the guy to ask.
Yeah.
I'm the manager of the airport.
It wasn't the plane. It was a heart attack.
Manager of any place is always the guy who steps up in front of a camera. Manager of the airport. Heart attack.
Yeah, heart attack.
Telling you right now, you had a history of heart failure? Yeah.
Of the 229 people on the Singapore Airlines flight, 104 received medical treatment after landing in Bangkok, an unusually heavy toll for turbulence. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board recorded 101 serious turbulence injuries from 2013 to 2022. So almost 10 years, they only had 101 serious turbulence.
Wow, and then they have 101
on one flight.
Glad I didn't go over the, what was it called? The
Irrawaddy Basin.
The Irrawaddy Basin.
One passenger on the flight, Andrew Davies from London, said the seatbelt sign came on immediately before the plane began plunging, giving passengers little time to buckle up.
How do the pilots know? They always, because a lot of times they come on the intercom, we're going to go through some rough turbulence here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And how do they see it coming? Was it clouds? What is it, clouds?
Radar.
I
would assume it's radar. Now I'm no pilot.
Perhaps sonar.
Sonar. Could be sonar. It could be radar.
Sonar.
Yeah. But what about this, Joe? When I always... People... I don't understand when they turn the seatbelt sign off. Fasten your seatbelt sign off.
Yeah. Why not leave it on?
Why not leave it on? People fucking click it off.
Oh, I know. People act like it's like the fucking liberation of Paris when they do that. It's always older people go rip it off, and they get out. Rip it off. They get out and they piss all over the floor, and they're pigs.
Yeah, they run up and down the aisle.
Nothing drives me crazy. I get a guy going to have to pee, but have you ever seen the guy? The seatbelt line goes. He takes it off. He gets up. He opens the fucking overhead bin.
Yeah.
Rummages through his backpack. Yeah. Fucking stretches. Gets out his Nook.
Yeah.
He gets out his Kindle.
Yeah. Fucking get it before you put it in there. I don't like when they open up the overhead.
No one should be able to get up on a plane at all.
No, unless you go to the bathroom.
If I have to
you
move
need a hall pass
for you, then I'm gonna freak out.
What did you say?
If I have to move out of the way for you to get up, I'm pissed.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. And then then the pilot always comes on and they go, I unfastened the seatbelt sign, but go ahead and leave it on. So I don't even get
Sometimes they take it off and then it goes right back on. He goes, no. Buckle it back up.
For passengers on the Singapore Airlines flight, the incident was terrifying. Davies, the 54-year-old passenger from London, said breakfast was about to be served when the seatbelt sign came on and the plane plunged.
Oh, you hate to miss breakfast.
You hate to miss breakfast.
That is a big 180. You're looking forward to breakfast?
Yeah. And then
you go through the worst turbulence in recorded human history?
Yeah, your head bounces off the top of the plane.
That's nowhere close to breakfast.
Not even close. I was looking forward to pancakes.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't serve breakfast right before.
Yeah. It was such an awful shock, said Davies, who buckled in just in time. When the turbulence stopped, Davies heard screaming, looked around, and saw a woman covered in blood. He went to the galley several times to get water for injured passengers.
What the fuck's the galley?
Quote, absolute carnage, he said. Absolute carnage.
Absolute carnage. Also, I'm sorry, what is a galley? Is this a 16th century boat we're on?
Well, he's a fucking dirty
Did he go in the hole? Oh, yeah, they got different words for everything.
Yeah.
Went to the galley, fuck off. You went to the privy by the galley.
Took a lift.
I'm glad an English guy was at least on and had to go through the turbulence. No, that's scary, though. It's scary that it's going to happen more often. Apparently.
Yeah, it's going to happen every flight.
Again,
now.
I think that we're going to come to a point where it's no longer safe to fly.
No,
which
not
is
at all.
why they got to get this high-speed rail going.
I support the high-speed rail.
It's on a track. It's not blowing anywhere.
It's on a track.
Let's cover the whole fucking planet in high-speed rail.
Let's not get into derailments.
Derailments. We'll cover that next episode. But now we're going to hear a follow-up from a previous story about Bob Menendez. Who was embroiled in a legal
taking bribes from Egypt and a couple of New Jersey businessmen.
That's right. Yeah. Well, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Menendez lawyer offers gold bars explanation. Remember all the gold bars that were shooed away in his closet?
Yeah.
Well, a lawyer for Senator Bob Menendez previewed the New Jersey Democrats' defense against bribery charges, telling jurors that a misunderstanding with the lawmaker's wife explained the gold bars that federal investigators found stashed in his home. Menendez, on trial in New York federal court, is charged with accepting the bars and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in exchange for taking official actions that benefited the governments of Egypt and Qatar. And 3 New Jersey businessmen. During opening, so I don't know how that relates to all those people. I'm going to pass a bill that's going to help Egypt and 3 guys in fucking Jersey City and Hoboken with their used tire business. During opening statements Wednesday, Menendez lawyer Avi Weitzman said
he's good.
He's good. You want a Weitzman? We got Weitzman on it. Well, we'll find out how good he actually is. Said the senator was an American patriot. You want to tell the jury that. Yeah. Who never accepted a bribe and acted legally on behalf of his constituents. The gold bars belong to the senator's wife.
The missus.
Weitzman said. The investigators discovered them in her closet in the New Jersey home. Menendez believed his wife had gotten the gold from her family, who are wealthy and from Lebanon. Where collecting precious metal is a cultural norm there.
Oh, sure.
They want you to be blinded by gold and cash, he said of the prosecution. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office charged Menendez last year, accusing him of betraying his office by accepting bribes to secure billions of dollars. The gold bars had serial numbers.
Yeah. Sure.
And they could be traced back to 2 New Jersey businessmen. According to the prosecutors. And also, fingerprints and DNA of one of the businessmen was found on some of the cash-filled envelopes stashed away.
My God.
Jizz and hair all over it. Serial number, you just type it into Google and it just shows a picture of that guy.
New Jersey businessman.
So we'll see what the jury says.
I'm sure he'll get off scot-free.
Yeah.
It's always I love when a guy's defense is blaming the wife.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what about the wife here? You know?
No, fuck her.
No, she's from Lebanon.
She's from Lebanon.
All they do is they
fucking love their gold over there.
They're money grubbing mitts all over the jewels and gold. Have you ever seen a Lebanese woman fucking covered in jewelry and gold? They're all the fucking same.
Wow.
You know who doesn't love gold? Businessmen from New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey businessmen.
They love giving it away.
Well, Joe, this is from... We're getting a little visit from the personal journal. One of our
favorite sections
of the Wall Street Journal. Headline: Friendship can be a costly proposition.
Oh, really?
More people are relying...
You gotta buy podcast equipment.
Yeah. More people...
Gotta get mics.
Yeah. More people are relying on gym memberships, art classes, and other expensive activities to develop connections. Like starting a podcast.
Oh, trying to find friends.
They're trying to find friends, and when they do, they have to maintain the membership to hang out with them.
Right. See, we're lucky because we have stand-up comedy to make friends, and that's only cost us incalculable time.
Incalculable time and relationships.
Yeah, relationships with women. Those have suffered too.
Annabelle Havel spends at least $500 a month maintaining the 3 close friendships she made since moving to a new town 2 years ago with her husband and 2 children. That covers parties, book clubs, casual wine nights, averaging About $170 a friend.
She's dropping $170 a friend per month.
That's what it says. Yeah.
Why don't you just have your friends over to dinner at your house instead of going to a sip and draw subscription service?
What with inflation, the groceries? I mean, yeah, damn.
I guess that could cost $100 and some odd dollars a month too.
Yeah, we just watch TV, play this Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, meditate.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, they reciprocate. Quote, it's a lot more expensive to have friends than it is to not have friends, said Havel, who is 42 years old and lives in Fauquier County, Virginia.
Maybe that's her problem. She's fucking sitting in Fauquier County. There's nobody there.
Making and keeping friends takes more money and effort than it used to. I don't
know if that's true.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But they say that at everything.
Say,
it's way harder than it used to.
Coffee's out. And turbulence is up.
People spending less time at offices, schools, and free community groups are now spending money to make friends. Rising prices at restaurants and bars mean that catching up over drinks or dinner can add up fast.
That can add up fast.
Especially when you knocking them back.
Oh.
Americans today have fewer close connections than decades ago, a phenomenon compounded by the social isolation of the pandemic.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's always the pandemic's fault.
Jesus Christ.
Also, complete and total bullshit. It was happening way before that with the invention of the cell phone.
Yeah, nothing to do with the pandemic. Everything to do with internet and technology.
Yeah. Paying for art classes and gym memberships to meet people can be an expensive proposition. It takes around 200 hours to form a close friendship. So we only have about 160 more podcast episodes to go.
Yeah. I'm also thinking, if I'm taking an art class, I'm taking it because I'm trying to get better at art. If somebody's still there and says, name's Pete, thinking maybe we could play golf sometime. I go, come on, man.
My name's Pete. You like art?
Name's Pete. What kind of art you like? I'm here for friends.
Yeah, I agree. It's like people that get into stand-up and they're like, I just want to make friends. It's like,
dude, get the fuck out of my way. Yeah, it sucks. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But I also think all this stuff is for chicks. Much like oat milk and hand sanitizer, I think paying for pottery classes and wine clubs and book clubs to make friends.
Now, if you want to learn how to make pottery, that's manly.
Great. Well, that's for everybody. I'm going to say that's for everybody.
That's for everybody.
But people do it just to make friends.
Yeah.
That's for women.
That is.
Now, what guys do, most men who are not in they don't have something like stand-up comedy, they just don't make friends, and then they suffer from loneliness.
Yeah.
Male loneliness.
Male loneliness.
Male loneliness, they're calling it. Because we'd rather be lonely and talk to no one and yell at the TV.
Yeah, but the Wall Street Journal ain't going to write a fucking article about that.
What, am I going to pay a subscription for a fucking wine night?
No.
Go talk to Pete about art?
That'd be nuts.
What, are you crazy?
Yeah. Well, no, you wouldn't do that because the price tag keeps rising. The cost of club memberships, lesson fees, event tickets, and food and alcohol outside the home rose almost 11% over the past 2 years.
Well, also, the price of everything rose 11% in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah.
It's inflation.
Yeah.
So.
Ginny Orletsky Dane, 33.
Bullshit name.
Sought friends at professional networking events. Since the pandemic, she has noticed attendees are often more interested in growing their social circles than job hunting. But she has made only a couple of friends through the events, which cost up to $25. She's throwing money down the drain.
Who goes to networking events to make real friendships? Everyone there is like
psychopaths.
like
absolute
a fake
psychopaths.
Jostling, trying to elevate their career status and being a phony.
Yeah.
You're going to a phony convention to try to make friends.
To make a lasting friendship.
Get reality check.
Well, this is interesting, Joe. Neighborhoods used to provide a local social network, but people are less close with those who live closest to them.
No, most of the time you never met your fucking neighbor in your life.
Don't even look them in the fucking eye when I cross them. Passing by in the hallway.
In our case, he leaves us hostile notes, slides under our door.
Yeah.
Calls us fags.
Yeah. About 41% of Americans said they socialized with neighbors at least once a month in 2022, according to the General Social Survey, down from 61% in 1974.
That's a pretty big jump.
Huge jump. Now, why do you think that is? Besides the social isolation of the phone, nobody really. I mean, I guess that maybe that's all it is. Nobody really talks to anybody.
I think maybe that's all it is. Maybe there's a couple other things. I think people also traveled way less back then.
Sure.
You're stuck kind of in your town.
Yeah.
Back then.
You had a horse and buggy.
Well, I mean, they just, even though they could, people, I mean, you went on a vacation. What is this? I mean, twice in your lifetime back in the 60s
You're
and
right.
70s.
Yeah.
The vacation was driving to the lake.
Yeah.
It's fucking 20 miles away.
Right.
So most people were just around more, traveling less. And then there was also way less entertainment. So there was nothing on TV. You had two channels. You had fucking Archie Bunker.
Yeah, you had Arch. You could watch Arch.
You had Arch.
In his chair.
And then I think that all you had was just cracking, and people didn't go to. I feel like people were just drinking and doing outdoor stuff more.
Yeah,
barbecues. I don't know.
Yeah, playing cards.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. My dad and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. My dad and I, we used to just pop in at my cousin's house. No.
Oh yeah,
call,
yeah. We did that
nothing.
a lot. My dad did that. I don't think some of the relatives really appreciated my dad doing that. And he
but if anybody did that now, it would ruin my fucking day.
My Uncle Robert would just pull up unannounced. I mean, people were always pulling in my house back in when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Everyone was just showing up.
It's unheard of now.
Yeah, people were walking in and out of the door.
I don't know what changed.
It's unheard of. You got to get fucking security clearance to say. I let my brother know 2 years in advance when I'm coming to visit.
You got to get security clearance, and if you pop in, you can see through the Ring doorbell. You go, turn all the fucking lights off. Don't make a fucking peep.
Did I tell you about the one time? I don't want to sidetrack us too much here, but did I ever tell you about the one time where I was living with my brother and my buddy and another friend of ours? There's four of us in this house.
Sure.
And this guy we're living with, Nolan, he's seeing this girl, and it's like a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And he's trying to ghost her. And he tells us, he's like, I'm going out tonight, but she will probably show up looking for me. Just tell her I'm not home.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right. And so we don't want to talk to her.
Sure.
So she comes 3 hours later. She starts banging on the door.
Yeah.
And we turn the lights out.
Yeah.
And we turn the TV off and just pretend nobody's home. And we could hear her yelling, I know you guys are in there. And we didn't know what to do. And she wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
And so we all slipped out the back and just huddled by the back door and just smoked cigarettes against the house, waiting for her to leave.
How long did she stay?
About 10 minutes, and then she left. Yeah.
10 minutes, but at that, it feels like an eternity.
Felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Moral story, nobody loves a walk-in. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. I used to.
I like the concept of it, yeah.
Yeah, or in practice I used to, but now it'd make me irate.
Although if somebody was just randomly here, I think I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. But I also feel like that's basically the whole thing is it costs money and it doesn't always work out. But
just like anything in life.
Yeah. But
costs money, doesn't always work out.
But I also think it's a lot of the reason why people are unhappy now is it's too easy to tell when someone is ignoring you.
Yes.
And you could see they post on you send them a text, you see they post on their story they're having a good time at the beach.
Yeah, that's interesting.
and then you're home alone, left on red.
But
in the old days, I'm talking about when you lived a town over and it took forever to get there, you had to write a lady a letter.
Yeah.
And if you never heard from her again,
you show up.
Or you show up, or if you never heard from her again, you just assume she died. She died of polio.
Or show up to her work. Is Mary Bell around?
Oh, you haven't heard?
You just missed her.
Yeah, either you just missed her, or you haven't heard. You haven't heard. But I think we should go back to not knowing where everybody is all the time.
Yeah, maybe that is part of what it is, because you just don't know what anybody's doing, and you have to call them on a landline.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they'd be out
it's
of the
easier
house.
to just go there.
Yeah.
They'd do a quick drive-by, and then you see their car, and
Right.
that's what people would do when I was growing up. They do a drive-by, you see the car, and then you say, fuck it, I'll pull and have a beer.
Sure.
Like, I want to have a beer with my dad.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'll tell you who's not having a beer. The guy who got Neuralinked. And Biden and Trump. This is our final story for the podcast.
Wow.
This is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
A little follow-up segment. But we'll cover it if you haven't heard about it from start to finish here. FDA gives Musk's Neuralink approval for second patient.
Oh boy, good for them. Good for Neuralink.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave a green light to Elon Musk's Neuralink to implant its brain chip in a second person, signing off on the company's proposed fixes for a problem that occurred in the first patient. The fixes include embedding some of the device's ultra-thin wires deeper into the brain.
Yeah, you want to go deeper. That was a mistake.
They tell the FDA, what if we go deeper?
We have
And
to.
they go,
We crunched the numbers. We looked at the data. We have to go deeper.
isn't that just what they want? We just need to go deeper in the brain. Then it'll work. Well, yeah, so they're going to go deeper into the brain, according to a person familiar with the company and a document viewed by the Wall Street Journal. That doesn't mean anything. As Neuralink prepares for its second test participant, the first, Nolan Arbaugh, is opening up about the implant of the device on his life, the impact of the device on his life,
Sure.
and the emotional roller coaster he experienced before, during, and after the device lost part of its functionality.
What's he have to say?
While he was in the middle of a game of Rocket League. And so if you don't know, we covered this the last time we talked about it. Basically, all he could do is kind of like move a mouse around and play video
Yeah, he
games.
plays video games.
He plays video games is all this thing could do for him, which is cool. It is tight. I mean, that's significantly more than he was doing. In the days after his January implantation, Arbaugh used the Neuralink implant to control a cursor on a computer screen with only his thoughts.
Wow.
The quadriplegic with no movement below his shoulders for the past 8 years, Arbaugh suddenly was able to communicate with friends, play games, and interact in the world in ways that hadn't seemed possible after his accident.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you can finally communicate with your friends again, and they like kind of leave you on red. see him on the beach. Talk about isolation. Sorry, Nolan, you're gonna have to join a wine club. You have to join a sip and draw.
Guy's a wet blanket.
Yeah, actually, wet blanket. Actually, friendship costs money, buddy. Cough it the fuck up.
I know you spent most of yours on this Neuralink, but
Heard it didn't work.
yeah.
But a month after,
Also, did this happen in January?
he was implanted in January.
Shit, and they've gone ahead and they go. You got the okay for a second patient.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even wait a year.
They made him wait. Well, yeah, but I don't.
No, I think they should make him wait a year.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, it seems very soon
Yeah.
to be like, nah, no.
Well, it seems fine. It's only been,
We're gonna go deeper.
it's been 6 months.
Sounds good to us. We don't understand what you're doing. How could anyone understand what they're doing? No. They're the only company that understands what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they also don't because it didn't work. A month after his surgery, he noticed the device was no longer working as well. Most of the threads implanted in his brain had come loose, and they were no longer reading the electrical signals needed to translate his thoughts into cursor movements.
They had to shut him off and turn him back on again.
Yeah. Quote, I was on such a high, and then to be brought down that low. He's talking about the game he was playing. It was very hard.
Yeah.
Our boss said in an interview, quote, I cried.
Oh.
Playing Halo. It's bullshit, man. Since such a device had never been implanted in a human being before, Neuralink didn't know how much the brain would move inside the skull, said Arbaugh.
Yeah.
Why are they asking Arbaugh? I can barely talk. Also, aren't they just controlling everything he says? Anyway,
There's no way of knowing how much the brain can move in the skull.
This is the only way to find out.
You think they would know?
You think they would know? Do a quick shake around.
Yeah. Put him on a fucking Singapore airplane. They'll move the brain around.
The reason his brain moves around so much is because every time he fucking loses in FIFA, he throws his controller, he goes, fuck! Well, since the device had never been implanted, Neuralink didn't know how much the brain would move around. It found his brain moved up to 3 times as much as what they expected it to. That's crazy. To keep threads in place, one of Neuralink's proposed solutions was that the FDA has signed off on, is to implant them 8 millimeters into the brain's motor cortex compared to about 3 to 5 millimeters with ARBA. With the FDA's blessing, Neuralink now hopes to implant a second participant in June. According to the person familiar with the company, who says that more than 1,000 quadriplegics has signed up to be that patient. And while some of those people are eligible, Musk posted on X on Thursday that the company is still accepting applications. It's not too late to sign up. Neuralink aims to implant 10 people with its device this year and hopes to have a diverse set of recipients in order to study a variety of behaviors. One challenge is that the people signing up to its patient registry skew white and male. Said.
I wonder why that is.
Elon Musk Neuralink? Awesome. Yeah, dude, no way a black guy wants to get chipped.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a shock to me.
When Arbaugh learned why his implant had stopped responding to his thoughts, he said he asked if it could be removed and fixed or possibly replaced. Arbaugh's medical team said they didn't want to do another brain surgery and preferred to wait for more information.
Yeah, we don't feel like it. It's really a lot of work.
You guessed it, bud. Hope you had fun. Here's the rest of your life back.
Yeah, no, so we actually should have put it deeper, but we don't want to feel like going any...
Yeah, we're actually going to do a new guy, and we're really excited about the new guy.
We're going to nail this one.
You're kind of the old guy. A few weeks after disclosing the problem to Arbaugh, Neuralink was still trying to figure out exactly what had happened. But Arbaugh described in the interview how the company's engineers improved the performance of his own device, altering how it decoded his brain signals.
They ran an update.
That they did an update. They did a software update. That improved things to the point that Arbaugh said he has now surpassed the capabilities he'd had before the threads retracted.
Whoa!
It makes me very, very hopeful for the future, he added. It seems like we've learned a lot, and it seems like things are going in the right direction. Well, that's great, but also... what if they're just pretending that he said that because they control his brain? What if they just make his brain go, it's actually great now. It's better than it was before.
Elon Musk is the best, and we love Neuralink.
Yeah, it's not like there's a fucking chip in his brain.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Hey, buddy, you said it was broken.
Yeah.
That's really not what you meant, though, huh? Right, yeah.
Yeah, so go out there, talk to the Wall Street Journal.
It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is not what I meant. You are right.
Wow. Well,
there you have it.
That's it. That about wraps it up for this episode of Echo Chamber with Joe and Trent. Don't forget to like, subscribe,
all that bullshit.
Leave a review, leave a comment.
Tell your friends.
Share the podcast.
Tell your friends if you can afford them.
Yeah, if you can afford
to have friends.
If you don't have friends, go to a fucking book
Crack
club.
a beer, have a coffee with them, both of those things are out. So maybe, I don't know.
This is Trent Mabry signing off.
And this is Joe Nunnink signing out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.